Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming this evening. It's nice to see you all here. All right, from SAA to semen now. So we're going to start with the response to the first question, and that is yes. Even a one-time fever could significantly impact a stallion's semen quality, quantity, and by extension, their fertility. Through past experiments have shown that by simply insulating the testes for as short of 4 hours can raise the temperature of the scrotum at just a couple degrees and severely and significantly impact semen quality and quantity. Now, the interesting thing here, though, is that oftentimes there's a lag or a delay from the time that the fever occurs to the time that we see these changes. The reason being for those are several. I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but we'll highlight a few of them. First off is that sperm cells are continually being produced within the testes. Every time I snap my finger right now, a normal breeding stallion can produce somewhere between 20 and 40,000 sperm cells. And in doing so, they will do that over obviously 24 hours, but from start to finish, it will take around 57 days for that sperm cell to be released from the testes. Following the time it's released, then it has to travel through the epididymis and epididymides for another 10 days to go through further maturation. So all told, from start to finish, it's actually going to take about 67 days for a sperm cell to be fully functional and capable for fertilizing an egg. What's also important here is that there are some sperm cells, or during the stage of development, that are actually really sensitive or more sensitive to heat than others. These pachytene sperm cells here actually are really sensitive, but because they're formed about 26 days into the whole process, it's going to take another 26 days for them to be released from the testes. You then add on another 10 days. Well, it's going to be about 37 days before you see any type of impact in sperm quality and their fertility. Fortunately, though, despite all the negative things I'm saying, that in most instances, this is a reversible process. Given time and employing some preventative measures to mitigate the risks of fevers can be really beneficial. So as far as mitigating those risks, what can you do? We'll monitor their temperature. And especially during stressful periods, whether it be transport to and from the clinic or a show, you might want to check the temperature several times during the day. As far as treating those, well, the sooner you jump on them, the better off they're going to be. And as one of my favorite skits at Saturday Night Live would say, if you got a fever, the only prescription in this instance is going to be Banamine or another Flunixin product, and not to be partial to that one product there. All right, the next question here, and I'll go ahead and say it myself, Dr. Riddle, is basically commercial influences aside and pricing being equal, should I breed my mare to a stallion that has a book of 80 mares or 180 mares? And I believe this question was actually asked at the farm managers meeting 2 months ago, and I'm glad somebody brought it up because I don't think it's got its just due. Well, to begin with, in many instances, a stallion's book is done so or prepared deliberately. Stallion managers and farms just don't throw a number up against the wall and see what sticks. They're going to account for many various factors as to how they think or how big of a book that stallion can be capable of handling. These factors would include things like their libido, the type of program they're in. Are they in a live cover or are they in an AI program? Their age and potentially the size of their testes. But what's important to keep in mind, though, is that studies have shown, and actually this was a really nice study done by the University of Pennsylvania's New Bolton group, that showed that the larger a stallion's book size, actually the higher the live foal rate. So not only did a stallion's book size seem to impact his own fertility, but also the ability of a breeder to obtain a foal from that particular stallion. So that was a pretty interesting conclusion that you could draw from that particular study. And finally, though, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that all stallions are individuals and thus need to be treated as such. Some stallions might be capable of handling 180 mares, but unfortunately, they are not able to get that many mares. In those instances, we'd recommend keeping them on a regular breeding schedule so that they do not get plugged up. In other instances, you would like to book a stallion to more mares, but he simply can't handle it due to either semen quality, infirmities of old age, so on and so forth. And basically what this chart shows you is how different two stallions can be based upon their book size. For instance, this one stallion who has a small book size, well, he actually needs to breed more frequently and more mares in order to remain relatively fertile. If he's given any type of period of sexual rest, you can see his per cycle pregnancy rates drop almost below 20%. This other stallion, who's got a larger book, almost by 46 mares, well, he actually needs more breaks because the better he does with 1 or 2 days of sexual rest, the higher his pregnancy rates. So in a nutshell, every stallion is an individual, and when you are choosing your mare as far as who she should go to, consider his book size and see if it makes sense for you as a commercial breeder.